사시 불기 축생 매처 참리라 블링신이 대견파디 상계싱도 mikte ulva 이조 남낙싱라 출파쇼 이담 구루라타 만달라 감내야타야미
도단에 자수지 다기 주시 집에 소남지 롤라 펜데 산제 주와쇼 산제 초다 소제 초남 찬주 버도단에 자수지 다기 주시 집에 소남 롤라 펜제 산제 주와쇼 Sanje choda soje chona chanju pardo dane jasoji dagi chushe jebe chonam dola pinche sanje dobarasho Chije zenze hanjen denu gun chana pemon dinze So one days da ju chinjin lo mananga da nyambe senje da mi do jule so be sanje ju man bu che to be che do tam be che zam bu de nyambe no ma chu oh la so teni da tsigang da la jinje chato ki shikur la so mirish chonga rang ki lemba da jarka jen la overshos
We have left off at the 5th verse. When out of envy others mistreat me with abuse, insults, or the like, I shall accept.
There's a ko Translator.
Now, que duela. Que duela. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me in the hall? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've left off at the 5th verse, which reads, "When out of envy others mistreat me with abuse, insults, or the like, I shall accept defeat and offer the victory to others."
Oh, las tan dini chado la ya de ta one shin de zap chenbo ta nga zu tiram ni shu zai ji din na ni re chwa na la ta yong da yong jin ba song zang ta nga zu ne den yin de la sam no zi ma dang wa yin na ha le be ji ani jön chen bu zi cha ge do.
So this word jealousy here, this jealousy, it is something very strong, very with lots of weight. And so in our daily life here in the 21st century, it is really necessary that we think about this, because when this comes to our mind, it is a big flaw.
Jiri jakab ji baro la chado deni ta ji yumi chimzen yi baro la chado deni kambune chechung yi baro la chado lega khangda khang lobjong khangda khang chi wa ina ta chado dan dresem dihi tandan zambuling phungda phungjin ba yinjang deni chado la ya de la jun de la nga zo nimex thoya de kechim bu yinzar yes.
So in general, there's many different occurrences of this type of jealousy. For example, there's jealousy and competition between countries, between family members, between members of companies. There's all kinds of different, types of situations when there's jealousy occurring. And so whenever this competitive mind comes about, it is very important for us right now to see its shortcomings.
내가 저기 강다를 아니 가서 튠지 렉조 한지 자침부터 여봐 있나 안데 참지네 차도 용어라 로자와 있나 아니 가서라 서로가 동에 예대버지 옌기 튠지 렉조 아니 지주 자치로 푸숨소바 자침부 가리지 여봐 있나 디 차도 용어라 로자와 있나 아니 랑라 아니 동에 바식 예대버지 랑기 대화디 랑기 차도기 좀 전에 직차기도
So no matter how great our conducive circumstances are right now, no matter how many great things we have, if we are under the power of jealousy, then the only thing that can happen to us is suffering. Any other pleasures that we might find through form, sound, smell, taste, touch, however great they may be, through them, there's nothing else that can come than suffering. And so when we come under the power of jealousy, we will be defeated by it.
아니 차도단 전심이 인간라 아니 수수기 미치지 제자와 이나 네 저와 벤조 가르지 여와 이나 아니 디 수수라 초르바 동행 바식리 되와지 쟁기야양 다가낭지 윤족주 지나기 렉비초 간제 짜침부터 여와 이나 랑기 심데 차도 이모라 여와 송장 아닌데라 제수이랑 통양 파자 아닌데라 비 차도 제세밍하네 쟁기 부숨 소발라 아니 랑기 초와 강에 랑기 부숨 소발라 랑기 초발라 강에 디지 강인데 체사 자캅기 젠더 탑저 되니 침장이 아니 젠더 탑저 되니 조자 치로 레차지 딘디게 다시베 분조 아니 지 왕보락바기 가서 시베 분조 덴데 짜침부지 니갑지 여바 이나야 차도 영어를 조자바 이나 아니 가서 가두이나 마지바다 가두이나 소소 있으면 시랑래야 가두이나 쓰면 소소 징랑래야 되니지 심 쉬면 심 파면다 아니 강다를 아니 심노라 동에 나서버지 징대바데 랑랑게 차도기 주디기 지겨스
So if we live our lives under the influence of jealousy and competitiveness, then no matter how many economic wealth we have or other excellences of samsara that we might possess, the only thing that they can bring about is suffering. There is nothing else. Every outer or inner excellences that we might possess, any pleasures, they will only bring suffering. Because if our mind is consumed by jealousy and competitiveness, then forget about rejoicing in others' happiness. It will bring problems to ourselves. It will bring problems to others. For example, if there's jealousy or competitiveness between countries, that will bring problems to them. If it exists between family members, nothing but problems will come. And so if we follow after these pleasures or excellences of form, sound, smell, taste, and touch, these might be pleasurable to our coarse faculties, right? In a coarse sense, they might be pleasurable. However, they can always and only bring about suffering. If we are consumed by this jealousy and competitiveness, then we will live our lives scared, depressed, we will always feel down. And so there's different types, all these different types of sufferings will be brought about by this mind state.
대양 차도 대양 아니지 주민지민이 중고요 말아봐 맞을라 시럽지 여르데 시럽디 아니지 다 뉴모 제냠들 여비 시럽데 이마 송장 조 차도데 자와데 규 마릭바이 아니 시럽 짜침보인데 같이 마시바체 아니 마리바세나 뭐이니주 마토니 짐바 아티 짐바 아니 디기 지원이와 송장 아니 가디는 거 짜시부지 용금에도
So this jealousy also doesn't come about without any causes and conditions either. It doesn't just come about haphazardly. It is because our wisdom right now is mixed with afflictions, with afflictive emotions, that these things come about. And the root of that is ignorance, because our wisdom right now is not yet opened up, and we are under the power of ignorance, the ignorance that doesn't see things as they really are. We are consumed by a fixation on grasping at true existence.
데니 종가랑기 렘바다 자카진 라야 디즈데 안지 다자 시럽 배주 마다네 아니 베 두루 잡 세교 말봐 니코 시럽기 남주다 템뱅아니 아니 짜치모 가지 여바이나 나춘 잠블링디 시디고리 semjen thamje dewa ndyogore 동에 되어요 말이 코륙 야고 고그래 디 난게 아니 semjen 저 참드인 고그래 디 참드 용야라 아니 semjen 참말로와 랑 난지 또그 이 초고그래 또그 이 초된 고그래 대송장 또그 초된데 랑레 라자 여바이나 가발라 찌발라 찌마루 대로 데레 약사지 잠블링데라 고기도 야화 빼미시 야고래 코랑라 빼미시 야고도 대나hingi 아니 가지고 그러고 다가랑 참말로 고기도 지네 제수 이랑 제야당 아니 랑라 짜치 뭐야지 쟁기 차도 제네 막아와 아니 지 낙셈 뇌셈 럭다 차도 되지디 인가니 제바 이나 큰에 독자 많이 봐 아니 전제지 남자 시비 돈에 시럽 배주 당네 아니 지 수수기 디큰에 매바제네 되니 대화 수수기 코랑기 되봐 코랑 차도 제기 너나 차도 제나 코랑 디그래 수술라 독자 썸노디 코랑기 썸노 독자리마도 나라라 기미도와 제장 가서 콩로랑 아니 셰당랑 나도 직주부지당 남주주부지리 딩가 저기 짐바기 주 만지마 지와이나 아주 야고레스 라바이나 수수 야고 메나 야고레스 람나 가고야미도 독자레스 라바이나 수수 에나 두고야시요 말봐 대송장 그 잘카제나 베스 라바이나 수수기 수수 자와 가레지나 대화지 네 가레지나 심제만한 심젠 탐결라 류기 제야 종가랑 길렘바쇼 셀라네 차도 제심 가르치바 있는 데라 상이 조습 매바 셈바 장댕한 시럽 배제단 다음에 주 통비건 심지에 까진진비 통비건 아니 지 데데 안에 셈바상 붙여야 돼 아니 파이진 자가 표현하지리
So this verse tells us to accept defeat and give the victory to others. And so, if we don't use our wisdom, then how can we ever bring about the peace and happiness for all sentient beings? Isn't that what we want? Isn't that what all sentient beings want? All sentient beings want to be happy and do not want to suffer. All sentient beings want to live in a nice environment, have a pleasant place to live. All sentient beings need food and clothing. And so when others have that, when others, obtain these things, rather than being jealous of them, wouldn't it be more logical to think, how great if they have these things? Because I also need them. And if they have more than me, how great, how wonderful. Everybody needs these things. And so in that regard, we can rejoice. We can rejoice in others' success and pleasures. And then if, from the other side, others get, jealous of us, then we can think that they are under the influence of competitiveness, pride, covetousness, ill will, wrong views, etc. We use our wisdom in that way. And so then, if others, are jealous of that, of us, what is that to us? It doesn't hurt me. It's nothing but, some words or some thoughts that they have and maybe, their expression towards me. But what is that to me? It doesn't really do anything to me. And so we think that when others have success or happiness, I think we give all the happiness to them. We wish them all the happiness. And so when others, blame us, mistreat us, then we give them the victory. And we think, I give all the pleasure and happiness to all my mother sentient beings. And then thinking in that way, with a mind of selflessness, with a mind that remembers the kindness of all sentient beings, we give the victory to others.
맞은 잠블링데 상물로 심진 상마기 강바리 고육숨조디 상마지 겐제여리 되네 아랑란 수수기 아니지 동해만 돼봐 대만 돼봐 나진 심진 상물로 대가랑리 내 인자네 오늘 전에 차도 렌슨 마세지네 야제 당네 찍찍라 균제한다 아니지 강다 시토 내난다 자카비토 내난다 최토 내난다 아니지 차도 렌슨간에 네그 라니 예와 첨부 슉 첨부 제대바 이나 아니 차도 단 렌슨데 지나서지도 와 대송장 맞아 차도 렌슨 라야디 미토면 술라이나 용시가 지당 용심바 인자네 레버즈마다 와이나 되니 전자 침보당 잠블링 오네지 풍로야다 레바치야다 하는 가서 같이 드럼니 주자지 티노라 망주 무게 마음부터 용돼야 돼서 참을와 주진디 차도 제심으로와 지靠古的와 야제 가스당나 야제 야고 중아 야제 냠도 되게 빼야고래 제네 디 지금에도 와 대성장 차도 라야 돼 출루 응원이나 차도 라야 돼 뭐가래 오늘 전에 아니 마소기에 아니 죄지 다 강들 라마 제바이나라 군조 대저기 마소 차도 제시 송으면도 와 차도 마치 젠센 마지 정보 제시스 정보지 젠사 지바이나 되는 거절라 초바 대바 용도도 와 차도당 젠센 디즈디 아니고 정보를 내가 레미도 와 차도 진 여주 차고지야 낙심 내심 럭다 차도 참아로 와 최기 민케니 제바이나 아니 네게도 네 진다 아니 네게 최조 네 출룩라니 차도 젠센 제레 제바이나 아니 카 최이 니츠지 아니 라렌디 아니 잠블링 풍야당 랑진 그 풍야지기 자와지와이나 디기면도 와 대송장 가서 상말로이지 일단 겐지 첨부지로 와
This world that we live in, this planet Earth, this is actually all of our home. This is our only home. And so taking care of the environment and taking care of living in a pleasurable environment is all of our responsibility. If we just think about my own happiness and my own suffering, isn't that a bit odd? Because all sentient beings are the same in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. And so we have to look after each other and think of each other. And so whether it is, from the side of politics or between countries or even in terms of religion, and if there is jealousy between the one and the other, thinking very strongly and making a differentiation between I and you, and having that strong thought that these two are different, that is quite a bit of a scary thing to do. Whatever is happening right now, like in the 21st century, there's lots of wars and disasters happening, and the causes and conditions for these are clearly seen to be jealousy and competitiveness. really jealousy is something that we don't need when it comes to religion at all. For example, we see also jealousy appearing when it comes to lamas, right? And it is never supposed to be there in terms of religion. We're supposed to come from a place of honesty. If we come from a place of honesty, then there's definite happiness to be brought about. If we're coming from a place of jealousy, then there is no honesty there. So even when it comes to lamas or spiritual teachers, if they act, through competitiveness, pride, covetousness, ill will, wrong views, etc., thinking that my religion is the best. This is my student. This is your student, and thinking of these differences between I and you in terms of religion too, then even though they would speak the words that sound like religion, their practice really has nothing to do with that. And so it is all our responsibility, I'm saying. It's a responsibility for all of us to give this up.
제장 맞아 정말 겐지 잠불린데 시대 토야지 상물로이시 겐지요리 랑 집을 쳐야지 수수수수 겐지요리 침상 집을 여야지 수수수 겐지요리 아니 수수 디지 나야디 아니 수수기 초기 냥 거기에는 사도데 매와지니 아니 사도기 잡라 예수이랑 상변연대는 예수이랑 제야 렉비차 통해야 딘데 제바이나 아니 수수기 소바 기부 소바 대바 아니 잠링디야 양 가주 상말로 찌든기 소남디 참말로 아니지 렉비차 로바이나 아니 시디 아니 심라 동해매와 삼발라 파주매와 찌찌라 로바 찌찌라 이치 빼 자치 뭐 용거와
Peace and happiness of the world, it is the responsibility that belongs to all of us. So we are responsible for our own happiness, we are responsible for the happiness of our family, and so forth. If you want happiness, then there is no place for jealousy. And instead of jealousy, we should be rejoicing. We can give space for rejoicing, for seeing the positive side. And that will bring about feelings of happiness and pleasure. And it will be the merit of the world. It will be the happiness of the world if that comes about. And there will be no obstacles. There will be no difficulties for the world. And people will help each other mutually. There will be trust between people. This is the responsibility of all of us.
단데 로 자침부터 참말로 렉비차 튠비젠트도 참말로 아니 가발라 지발라 데로가 야제 러러치는 진라 요나 가라 랑라 요나 지발라 데 참말로 아 랑진그 한번씩 조제 한번씩 뛰네 야제 스토바리 라시바즈리 ten 수수기 아니 즉 somebody 구형보다 자침부 정보지 간 로바이나 아마도 뺀 메시지 자침부 차기도 와.
So all the things that are going well for us, all the conducive circumstances, whether we have them, great. Whether others have them, great. Because actually they come about through many, dependent on many other things as well. And so there's a great auspiciousness in that, and there's a great dependent arising in that fortune that they have and that we have. So we can think in that way how vast our mind become and how precious.
다데니 강라 다기 펜다베 제와체와 강지 신도 메릭 뇌체 땅 뇌체나 신년 탐바 템바쇼스 냐 자친구 송도와 따와쇼스라는
And then we continue with the next verse, which reads, "When someone whom I have benefited and in whom I have great hopes gives me terrible harm, I shall regard that person as my holy guru." Well, that's also, these words are extremely precious.
다 ngaran so gi pha mela phende za chenbo zi robo mangbo zi che ani so la yin su su chesa yi jakap chungza yi chimza ani ji robo chomo an su su yi ngami khare zi na phemba ba ji ro zi ani chewa yin na chu ayang kashi ji khare ju le ba jang jang ro ani samngin jo su ro dindi yi yang na wa sha te ya dindi nga zo chunang le dindi yo ro wa.
And so when we talk about someone who we've benefited a lot, so may it be, between countries that have benefited each other a lot, or between friends, between partners, within the family, there's always, there can be this situation where you have benefited, you only benefited someone else, and yet all they bring to you is harm. And so these appearances arise, right? This is, this happens to us.
아니 지 가진지 파마 예 배부 참조만보 지야 저러다 되는지 갱갱기 아니 개tuk라 배 참조만보 제네 아니 배 연대 짜침보 나야 저러다 되는지 라마기 되는지 가서 빵랑 개틱 나네 짜침보 나야죠 된디기 짜침보 나야죠 되라 아니지 짜침보 마도네 되는 랑지 지니지 배 미세 되는 랑지 지니지 총아이나 안 디졸라 마가와 메와 멤버체 안 디졸라 이나 그룹에 신이다 배 라마나지 따투야 가인스나 랑기 탁고 짜침보 지연저디 랑드 팀에 망고 가지 거기로와 랑라 몽발 야부 조용해 치들라 아니 졸라 짜침보 용해 치들라 아니지 짜침보 파주에 좀 많이 봐 시럽다 덴바 디게 데르치기 말아봐 시럽 뉴몬다 제데와 디게 옌라 로바 제와다 옌라 펜바 제야다 옌라 직 제와 이나 거기 미유디 마음발라 수술을 직 제야다 레와다 오바 카르조로다 직 레와지 청디기로와 디 마임바 수수이 파라이나 야보 제야나 술라 수 독자 제와 이나 데니 직 셈데 주드와 마임바 아니 셈데 파르체와 이나 수도자 제와 이나 대로 수도야 될라 클레메바 신이 따와나지 라마데야 나지 세네 가인스나 디 너무 슉 잡으지 파야고치는 수도자진 한닝제 제네 코랑기 가조로 로 출바 슉 제중기 니 조용하네 아니 팔라 닝지 슉 전부 슉제야 이게 고급이와 인자 안 신이 따야 정전숭을
And our kind parents, or one's kind parents, they have been so extremely kind in raising their kids, or our kind teachers who have brought about all the qualities in the students, and also the lamas who have taught us what to give up, what to abandon, and what to adopt, right? So when sometimes they're not seen as precious, we don't see them, we don't see their preciousness. And so when this happens to us, when we are on the other side, then it is important not to dislike them, but to see them as our lama, as our teachers. And why is that? It's because we are not helping, we are not doing these things, we're not benefiting other people for our own purpose. This is not talking from the side of wisdom. If our wisdom is diluted by our afflictions, then if we benefit someone else, our aim would be to get something for ourselves, to wish, that something good will happen to us if we benefit someone else. This is not how it is if we talk from the side of benefiting people with wisdom. Because then, however much they harm us in return, we will not dislike them. We will not hold a grudge towards them. But here the practice is really to see them as our lama, to see them as our teacher. Because actually, in fact, these beings, they are under the influence of their afflictions. And so when they harm us in such a strong way, then we can think, poor thing, they're completely under the influence of their afflictions. And so this is a great opportunity for us. And this verse talks about taking that opportunity at that moment and then seeing them as our Lama.
That thing also, 신이 담바다 라야디, 미시 개침부지리. 가시 가서 대신에 담바다 마시바 이나? 당가서 주연 가리 통그레스라나? 아니 가서 미시 찍는 부위나 제바 뭐 제. 아니지 랍tra 야고 롭종 야고 내가 야고 근데 방어이. 네. 미시 다치무지 연주. 내나지 갱갱이. 아니 내나지 내가다 맞다. 강다라 자와 약사 레바 상사 잠니 아니 미치 찍는 미치 시부 찍는라 아니 소소이 자침부 준 이치치 연주기 명 초보왕 능명 약한 덴지시 자와지 제용도 홉디갈란딜라 아니 베드 첼렌 롱제스는 독자지 랑라 독자지 제용도 아니 디갑라 랑기 심데 shum바체 아니 심데 라와나 진체 아니 셰당 숙침부지 아니 디딩라 아니 차도다 제센다 낙심 내심 록다 차도 참아지 아니 심 shum네 랑게 아니 시럽디 카체 마시 바이나 할레바지 아니 동에 데이데네 뉴심라 아니 마저기 종지티도 참아투 데이데네 주면바체 아니 랑게 yenla yichi chamala rangla ishila do nyena mikashi rangshi jeyada ani ta khangyangla ani ji kharso ro daji rewa me bata ishi me baji susu gi ani namto hembaji jinne deni shena so chagido.
So seeing this person as your holy Lama is very, very crucial. It's very important. Because if we don't know how to do this practice, what kind of flaw is there? That flaw is that, if we, in this one life, we have, we have our child and we give them great education and we give them opportunities for jobs, and the parents, they really, really take care of their children. And in the same way, the teachers, they really take care of their students. And in the same way within, working environments, really, really try to benefit and have great hopes for that. They have great wishes for something in return, right? So whether it is between friends, between countries, between families, when we have such great hope for something in return, then if they hurt us, then we get really depressed. We kind of lose it a little bit, and we get really scared, and our minds gets lost. We have this feeling of being lost. If we then generate these feelings of competitiveness, pride, covetousness, ill will, wrong views, and we don't know how to open up our wisdom, that will bring about great suffering. And so we will lose trust in others, and we will even lose trust in ourselves. And in the worst case, we would commit suicide, we will lose all hope, and we will lose all trust in other people. We will feel like we have no one that we can put our trust in. So this becomes very scary.
다 신년 담바 다시와 이나 되니 낭수다 닌수 겐도 여빙하니 신년 담바 따야라 수수 시럽지 같이 걸어와 시럽 춘중 표도 중에 시럽 니 같이와 이나 아니 수수기 레준제 라야디 남자들도 아니지 뒤숨기 아니 샘제진 제바요 수수기 아니 가르주고로보다 심기 아니 똑소 마보 뒤숨나라 내니 텐제 뚜뚝로 봐매봐 준제로 봐매봐 라야디 아니고 규튠비지 제브니스 인자 아니 뒤숨라 수수기 섬당신이 아 근데 용시바리 베네 아니 수수기 셰당 많이 비토네 셰니다야 대양 아니 오 서바지야이 때 시럽지야이 때 존주지야이 때 년중지야이 때 안참을로 참nin지 참주기 심 제야지 대시 자치 보지 제용원 인정 신이 담바 다시는 수수기 셈디라 셈디 상부 구양부 자치부 비주당시도 신이 담바 대바이나 대연된 리스가
So, if we know, so on the other side, if we know how to see our these enemies or these beings as our precious teacher and as our Lama, if we understand the difference between the way things appear and the way things really are, if we can open up our wisdom and obtain a perfect wisdom, then we can understand karma, cause and effect, and we understand the connection between sentient beings throughout the 3 times, and we'll find this realization in our mind, and we will find that cause and effect is in fact undeceiving. If we can think about it in that way, if we can think about it over the span of the 3 times, then attachment and aversion will not be generated within our mind. And we can see that actually this person becomes a support for patience. It becomes a support for wisdom. It becomes a support for generating renunciation. Actually, it becomes a support or a base for all of these precious qualities to arise in our minds. And so in that regard, if we can see it in that way, then our minds will become more honest, our minds will become kind, we will find a kind heart. And so these are actually the benefits of seeing this person as our Lama.
대송자 맞추기 다시 가르쳐주고 시럽디 표주 당시와이나 아니 창문로 동해이나 지 초바 동해 용야지 주젠지 인바이나 아니 초바 대화지 주다 주젠다 님발라 아니 배 가르쳐 줄투야지 안 가서라 님바지 디기 님바디 랑진지 님바디 랑진지 시럽방 랑진 셈기 랑부 장부디 표주 당시와이나 아니 제 동행이 제지 치바이나 이나양 랑기 초발라 대화지 님바지 줄투바 인자 할리비 짜심부리도 와
So that being so, if we know how to use our wisdom, and we can see the causes and conditions that precede our suffering, then that brings about a very special power, a very special potential for natural wisdom to arise. And then if we know how to use our kind and honest mind, then when we meet a condition that is unfavorable to us, or basically if we get into trouble, then we can change that. We can change that mind into happiness, into bliss. How precious is that?
Dona ngösam gyubayi pende manam gulambul mai neta dongen gu sawen dala lembarsho sonandwa.
So then we continue to the next verse. It reads, in short, both directly and indirectly, do I offer every happiness and benefit to all my mothers. I shall secretly take upon myself all their harmful actions and suffering.
Tarangi chawa karizina dorna ani taibi semji tuyusumji ani semji tamji rangi ngus lu nga yisumji ani shugi ani kari chawa chiwa ina pende yonsu zoba mala bugin 마이 뇌다 동행군 상면 달라는 바쇼 소연 되지 다 동랭지 미과 저존 저지 렌도스
So this verse talks about any action that we do, any activity that we engage in, that we offer all of our happiness and benefit to all this limitless sentient beings of the three times. So may it be directly through our body, speech, and mind, or indirectly in any way, we offer all of our benefit and happiness to all sentient beings. And so in this regard, then they become the object of the practice called donglen, so giving and taking.
다 디조조 가리주고로 맞지 소소라 뭐고 지겨 봤으디 강을 보여 봤다 심진 탐지를 봐. 제 아니 소소 동바 동장 지슈스 방고 지슈스 요 말이야. 양 디야 양 디스지 삼노 자치모라도 삼노 땅구도아.
And so here, what it talks about is not that anything or any, object that we possess, we should just give everything to others and leave ourselves empty-handed. So this is not really what it talks about, in that we ourselves are left with nothing. And so here we have to think about that a little bit on the deeper level.
이 정말로 오늘 전에 수수기 심 표야 라야디 베라지나 맞어 뭐 보이나 다 공유 왕시지 아니지 수라치로 레샤라야디 아니지 퓨레 라야지 어디서 뛴주시 지겨러와 이나양 맞어 쪼디 공유 왕시디 말아와 이 시대 인자네 이 시기 맞어 자와 그러지나 쇼기네 수수야라네 수수기 내가 레고리 내가 자와 그러지나 니 자와디 파이비 심전 탐지 랑나지 동에 만들어 대반되어 샤다리 나기 내가 가르치나 니 파이비 심전 탐지네 전주기 셈당 양답에 따와니 토비아체도 또야체도 니 내가 대 자와대 지아 제네 아니 셈버정 못 지켜봐이나 다디 셈질레 퓨야 약슈 지그레도 난가 나지 지차 레도와 빼자친 거레도와
And so here, for example, if we talk about the objects of that we can, that we have directly, so our objects of form, sound, smell, taste, and touch. So here, it is not necessarily only talking about giving those objects, but here we're talking about using the primordial wisdom in any action that we do. From the moment that we get up in the morning, we think that all sentient beings are just like me in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. So therefore, today, any action that I do, I'm going to do for the benefit of all limitless sentient beings. And having that, having the correct view and correct conduct in mind, that would be the greatest gift that we can give to sentient beings. It would be vast like the sky.
심진라 약슈퓨야 약슈데 가래 닝지치 모레도와 참바다 제와다 닝지 라야데 참바다 제와레스데 성말로와 아니 시럽지 찌진비토네 아니 심진라 퓨바이나 랑기 뿌라 퓨바이나 랑기 침장 랑기 호주 아니 동바 침장 랑기 자캅 되네 잠리 쉬고 아니 좋아 리추 사물로라 피야디 장부들 세바 장부 장부 상고 차창하지 용할라 장부 거기도 장부디 시럽표도 중앙들이 시럽표도 중앙에 자와지 마토바이나 아니 상보라야 되주디 세징을 주주도와 세징을 지 쇠바이난다 아니 안다 지 진바당와 있는다 학삼지와 있는다 닝지지와 있는다 아니 가리지 자침보 제바 있나 디 체신 이거를 주르고 강이세나 수수기 짐바지 징와 인자 다 시럽표도 중하게 자와지와 있나 짐바다 샴발레 줄도 대송장 얘니 맞아 표야 돼양 배 장보 아니 시럽다 댐바 아니 닌제 표도 중 닌제양 체메베 닌제 저바양 체메베 저바 시럽양 체메베 시럽 아니 상말로와 체메바 체메레도 와다 체메바서 여와이나 아니 가서기 신앙기 강이 주전 체용도 아니 강이기 주전 체바이나 되니 상말로와 가서기 시럽 디기 가서 남도 체네 깽행바 trosu 차네 아니 시딩은 네트워크에서 열어와 배 계산 전부도 와들 배 미스케 전부도 와
So, for us, what is the greatest gift that we can give? What is our greatest gift that we can give? It is great compassion, right? It is love and kindness. And so, when this is embraced by wisdom, when this loving kindness and great compassion is embraced by wisdom, then whether, you talk about giving it to our children, to our family, to our direct environment, to our country, to all 6 types of beings, then this will come from a very honest mind. Because in order to bring about an honest mind, a kind mind, we need an honest mind. And what does that mean, to have an honest mind? It means to have a mind that is embraced by perfect wisdom. Because right now, of course, we do have, kindness, we consider kindness. But actually, whatever patience we have, whatever generosity we do, however much, we give rise to the mind of altruism and compassion, actually these minds right now are still quite limited because they are under the influence of grasping. However, if we fully embrace wisdom, then we will be liberated from that grasping. And then if we use that wisdom, then our patience, our compassion, and our wisdom will become absolutely unlimited. There will be no limit to them. Whatever problems that we might meet, then, based on that wisdom, we can take these problems on the path, and they will appear as a support. This is the practice that's called, taking the problems on the path and giving rise to the appearance of the problems as a support. And this is so, so, so important.
제자 당아서 강다를 시럽 라야당 닌지 라야디 베미시rin 강 친구들에도
And however we put it, wisdom and compassion is extremely valuable.
단디니 마이 내다 돈 상면달은 렘바 쇼송야지 강달 가지고 동래지 mik바지도와 다양 동래지 mik바데라양 양가서 삼는 뭐 딴 거야. 지당기 진지 동에 라야디 아니 가서기 가서로다 집레 라야다 아니 지 톱 라야디지 가서도 빼빼 깔리 가고 싶어라 와.
So here, this verse, the last 2 lines are, I shall secretly take upon myself all their harmful actions and suffering. And so, of course, this talks about, taking it as an object to our Tonglen practice or giving and taking practice. But this is something that we have to think about really a lot. Because in general, to take on other people's suffering is something that's very difficult.
이나양 다 돈이 무슨 또 되니다 chanjuse 무슨 제 되니나 되니 진동에 양 지코라 레다 멜럼 체네 근데 무슨 다지 이해야 되지 베시바라와.
However, if this is someone who has the direct realization of emptiness, then they can
잔죽 있습니다. 돈이 있다와 연인지이나 아니 제 동행 것을 투비아들이 요시바네.
However, if this is someone who has a direct realization of emptiness, then it is possible to actually directly take on the suffering of others.
안가서 소제와 강에 치르드나라 다지 미진지 동행 레야서야디 아니 그 딘데기 동행이 미바 여바이나 아니 심 코랑기 자침보다 수술라 무스 핑그리스 제라 다 저랑기 동행 일낸 곳에나 이 배때 자치진바이기 내가 대치 두고 말해대 이나야 랑기 동행이 미바 여바 대가랑기 랑기 강에 용수도가 설투바지 심나라 님바침부터 아니 심나라 카주르다지 심숙 첨부터 내용으로 니기 띵네 랑기 아니 내 나사이 강에 있는 쇠바툼이 아니지 화장지 남자 마인바 화장지 동해 마인바 니기 동네 심지어 탐제젠 동해 참말로 랑라 용화쇼 미야쇼 아니 나기 강에 디 심지지 동해 가리려나 니 참말 그런 쇠바쇼 젠바이나 삼노 니기 띵네 랑 고양보 아니 델라데네 소남 짜침부 시부터 싸이로 와 동네 줘야 돼 좀세 짜침부 요리야.
So if we now us, ordinary beings, try to take on other people's suffering, then there is a direct benefit to us. There's a direct benefit to ourselves, that in the fact that it really, touches our mind. And even though, there's not maybe that direct possibility of actually taking on the suffering of others, it has great potential in our mind. It has a great strength, because through that thought, we find a courage, we find a strength of heart that can actually help us when we are sick. We will be able to bear it easily. We will be less scared. We will have less fear in our minds. So we can think, may all the suffering of all sentient beings come onto me, and may all their karmic depths be completely cleared. And so then the mind will become very vast, and we will also accumulate great, great merit. And so therefore this is very valuable.
동네 들레데네니 카르조르 다지 제와이로 장부이로 강부이로 대양고 시럽 대양 랑신지 고런 슈글 표주 당도도와.
And based on the practice of Tonglen too, the loving mind, the kind mind, and honest mind too will be, strengthened by that. Give strength to those minds.
다 같이 딘디시 삼노디 아니 상부 연된다 동네지 연된디 자침부 시럽디 표주 당 마당와이나 좀 거래 요래슬라나 아니 심나 슈미야 아니 지바제야 아니 나살레이나 졸라메바 아니 셰당 아니 낙심내심 록다 차도 항달 심 슈미야당 아수수기 마지바 용수도가 차디로와.
So then if we were to think about, what is the shortcoming of not doing this type of practice, not doing the practice of Tonglen, giving and taking, then the fault would be that our minds will become depressed, we will become very fearful, it will be, more difficult to heal from sicknesses, we will come under the influence of competitiveness, jealousy, will bring about all kinds of suffering.
라서 되니 대다 균장 주제지세 똑배 침에 마방신 추균 주마시빌로 이미 칭원래 주쇼스 소난도와.
And then it is said, undefiled by the stains of the superstitions of the 8 worldly concerns, may I, by perceiving all phenomena as illusory, be released from the bondage of attachment.
This
This is really important for us too, right?
Dela samna tayang de chuji jikten chuji laya dang anji karchoro de na kaya ani me na doya ani zang nge laya je ta hangdar ji ngaso ge karjugoro ta ji mingi chedola 자차고 지연주지 심 정보다 대마 마인바 수수기 되든 좀야지 치돌라 탑연주 되간조 남주르 닝제모 되연주 아니 지 가지고로 심 깨차 닝제모 시연주 아니지 단단 고골루티 니스 뭐부지도아 아니 장나 주 자치모 통야 치돌라 아니지 남주르 아니 탑된 드라마를 지연주지 용거와 도와 리 창말로와 아니 직된 최제 슬라미 다지 대주대 창말로 방샤 리 창말로와 추균 주마 진들 시송아이나 지미칭와 내주쇼 스르면 따디 계신부 할리베 계신부 찍래도와
So here what we need to think about is the eight worldly concerns. Right? So, for example, liking very much when people praise us and really strongly disliking when other people rebuke us. We like positive things, we don't like negative things. And so, working basically in order to increase our own reputation, our own name, making our name bigger. And so actually, this is not an honest mind, this is not a kind mind. This is like putting on a show. Of someone who's kind and honest. It would just be someone appearing or showing the appearance of, someone who's nice or talking in a very nice way. In that regard, then deceiving other people. And it is just so that other people see us, as a good person. And so all of these eight worldly concerns are to be abandoned. And all phenomena should be seen as an illusion.
타강다 추균 주마 시빌로스 추탐제로 땡지 저와 인상 아니다 주마다 시소년디 아니 마소게다 똑바 라야디스 디 초트즈디 마소 동행 진이지 자와 아니 덴바지니 아니 젬바제 착기 신디 착지 스치미 착지 라야지 나와다 젬바 독자지도와 네가 초로가 동에 뒤다 남바 군도 초가 동에 존이지도와 온디 마 매와 줘야라 아니 최 탐지네 주만도 없이 그래스 덴바주가 요 말이스 랑기 아니 지원다 랑기 짐바나지 아니 유인누나 요 말이스라네 강들 동반이 시고래 송도와
And so here it says that all phenomena, perceiving all phenomena as illusory, right? And so how come they are illusory-like? It's because they are all in the nature of being dependent, in the nature of interdependence. And so here these thoughts, right? Says Thangpa, so these stains of superstitions, okay, so they use superstitions. So these superstitions, they are the root of all suffering, because they are under the influence of grasping, craving or desire to this life, to other lives. And all suffering of all the three times comes from that, actually. And so in order to remove this grasping and this craving, we need to see things as illusory-like. Because things are not actually like the way we grasp at them. And for that, we need to understand emptiness.
강달 다지 독도저거지 주바이나 맞죠 년중 장선 양답에 다와디 와야린가라 그래서 주는 제바이나 아니지 추케레나라 말레나라 디수기 로데여바이나 대화 용야지 당가죠 년중 넘버 타가지면나 되니 추 넘버 타가지 깔래가 보시고와 제 송장가서다 ngenjung jela deni khariju guru budaji ta chije rawrazina jedang gi susu tohu ji kangese keme ani ji ne nasase shira me waina kange shira me nga ngenjung je goya keme kange me stene soba nekapji soba la ro nyone ying ro ya yorwa an di pe misikale khabuts doa.
And so, in short, if we are to practice Dharma, we need the mind of renunciation, bodhicitta, and the pure view. Whether we are Buddhist or not, if we have this mind, then we can overcome everything. So if we don't have the mind of renunciation, then it will be very difficult to have a good conduct. And so for us, maybe people who live in the West or foreigners, so we generally don't have that much problems when it comes to getting enough food or getting enough clothing, and maybe we might not have to face so very strong sicknesses or illnesses. And so then there's a danger of the mind kind of getting distracted very much, or just walking away with pleasures.
Ani di kabla tsuwa tanyum sini yukde ya tsamzi re. Ani di nga tsu tembo yo ma re. Le labo jikru re. Le labo zodo nga tsu zupo korang kichi ni kubi rangjin zire, dongewe rangjin zire. Zupo korang ki tsuwa nga ne, ka zik jaga nachi. Le ma dewa zik mewa inza. Te song zang nga tsu karjuguru da ngenjung jaya la. Ani gewe shini, jen gewe shini chen ngenjung jaya. Chula teni ngenjung jaya. Ani simjen roa ritugi nangni matuwayi ki jujen tisu la tani ngenjung jaya. Dizugi tabshi tisu cheba ina. Ani sim jachenbo. Ani tarbata tamji chimbe kumbang nani jik dosa duwa. Tisung zang nga so tunru na yin chen karzu nikabji dewa jidang rabzi yoba ina. Ani chowa dewa zam jikala nikabzi ki tindrizi ki kala. Nga zo misiti tongba zesongwa ina halibi pambure dowa. Shezang ngenjung yaguzi ki tingne. Ani chanju ki sim. Susu rang ngenjung yaguzi jewa ina. Ani chanju ki sim. 라야지 제 유지기 직 탑지 숨기도 와.
So whatever pleasures that we now have, so they are kind of we don't understand that they are all in the nature of change, because this body, for example, it is always changing. It's always changing from moment to moment. There is the suffering of birth, old age, sickness, and death. And so we have to give rise to this mind of renunciation. So whether, we depend on a lama or we depend on religious traditions, we see that all 6 types of beings actually do experience all different types of sufferings. And based on that, we can give rise to renunciation. And then there is a real way to obtain liberation and omniscience. If we just chase after pleasures and pleasurable circumstances, this would be a great loss. If we would just work for that in this life, what a great loss that is. We would lose our lives in that regard. We lose the purpose. And so, based then on generating this renunciation, there's also explained the method to give rise to bodhicitta.
Deni ra hangdar nga so ngenjung jaya la nga so yi simna la topshatsi kari godo topshatsi gogido wa de inzane tarba layazi rosa duna yona tarba dikawado she zanga so tarbi yondende hahoya de pe misi keche mo insare ngenjung 쬐마 많이 와지 제거나 수수 nikap ji nginjung ta cha chimbu da re de le gi ngone thane me da be rang jin ju ro be rang jin ne nginjung sa sang ma khari na nga chu mi si si je de du khari na zu ta chi cha chimbu ka zo yo ba ina tama din ju ro be rang jin dong be rang jin ba de nga chu ko ra chu ni re do nga chu ha go ro ba 다 이나야 가솔라 이 체사지 수수직 조사지 거도 타르바츠 아니지 동일이 아니 제네 지 타르바 동일이 탈사이 유지 가솔라 로고도 딘디지 가서 통화 있나 아니 가서디 타르바 톰도 시로 얘기로 와 대송장 가서 이게 망치야 좀 가서 쳐봤대와 소바 동에 소바다뇽 라이드심 작바지 뉴모지 남샤 장장 렌도아 대송장 심데 참모지가라 삼당바이나 심이 랑지양 소소 동에 만되나 대반되나 동행기 짜와 매바치바이나 타르발라기도 동행기 짜와 매바치네 집에 연대디 말한 소리도 디 톱샤 지한테 빼케시 모래도 맞죠 지댕기
And in order to give rise to this mind of renunciation, we do have to have a sense of that there's something to obtain for us, for our mind. And so, if there is liberation, if this liberation exists, then where? How does it exist, right? And so, for that, we have to understand the benefits of liberation. So, when we think about it, the pleasures that we might now experience, of form and sound and smell and all of these objects, they are all in the nature of impermanence. They are all in the nature of change. They are, however you put it, in the end, they are all temporary. And so we need something to put our trust in. We need a place that we can trust. And that is that whatever we can put our trust in, that is liberation. And this is a liberation from all our suffering. And if we have that objective in mind, then we will feel this wish for really wanting to obtain liberation. We will generate a mind that wants to get liberated. Because whatever feelings that we now have of suffering or happiness or neutral feelings, they're quite coarse, they're quite rough in a way. Rough, maybe not. Maybe coarse is a better word. And so, if we don't want to suffer, if we want happiness, real happiness, ultimate happiness, then we need to have the objective of liberation.
ngaso jikdengi ani ji to ko tam laga chachibu topsungcheni gajen지도 di yagudi des ji sipe punzo den gajen지로 되바지로 데라 때는 ngaso ani ji 가르주고다 균란지라 니마 찍서니 저래마도 아니 지 뒤수 짠 매바 딩가 땅거로 빼샤 더비야 내가 더비야 아니 니 참말로 고런지 찍 열어봐 맞아 리부지 열어 리부지 톰되지 톰 되봐 여봐 나지 빼샤 민 안수수기 주불로 가르쳐줘 당연히 코치지도 니 띵네 대바 톱샤지 자신지라고 열어봐.
And so, for us in the world, we like very much the, fame and, food and clothing and sort of fame or reputation. We like this very much, these excellences of samsara. This is what we like, this is what we want. And so if we think in terms of, a time spent of 1 week or even just 1 day, then, if we spend time chasing these things, then there is a sort of result of a pleasurable feeling, right? If we get a certain amount of money or we get a certain reputation, there is pleasure there. There's pleasure in obtaining that.
이난 디치부기 ngasu 당기면도와 아니 대화 차상제 두게면도와 양 디코랑 소비 젠대야 동행이 젠 아니 줄비 젠 같이 짜지 모이는 거랑 짜지 뭐 거랑야 동행이 젠 줄비 젠지 뭐라 주루도와.
But this is not enough, is it? It cannot give us all the happiness that we really desire, because it is in the nature of suffering, it is in the nature of change. When it meets conditions, it will turn into suffering and it will change.
Tanga zu tsemewa nangi semgi ni tsuki tingne, one chane semi ranjin de hako songayna. Chue nam dina la songdoa. Chue gun juma shibi lo, jimi chingwan le zhi shou song. Chue gun juma shibi sina. Tanga zu dangzingi zimba, rang jinzingi zin songayna, chakwa, jemba, chingwan zidoa. Digi tsu zin songayna, nanga zu dongi yungdoa. Desongda nang is semi nichu chijin yu ji nichu ningia de la chambalo rangjin de chuni dongba ni ji rangjin ji chen song yi na cha dang yi lo de ma sel zhe ye.
And so what we need is a limitless type of happiness. And so this will come about once we know the real nature of the mind. For this we need to know the nature of the mind. So we look at the last two sentences. By perceiving all phenomena as illusory, be released from the bondage of attachment. So seeing things as an illusion will give way for us to not have such a strong self-grasping mind. We will not grasp at things as having self. And then because of this grasping, now we are bound, right? And this brings about suffering. This is the cause of our suffering. And so whatever it is, the inner phenomena like the mind or the outer phenomena like things, all of these things are in fact in the nature of suchness. They are empty. And so, and knowing that, our grasping mind will slowly dissolve.
This hamalo ada karzo nga so gi tongbani zachimbu re emptiness ta butichi da lane da nga so kunzo bi chaze da handa bi chadela tongbani yang ta be da ndinde se song de do di zachimbu de chimba ina shirap pyu du chungwa zre do di karo da sa tongba tongjang ndinde pindu me wa da chue tamje ne ze china. And the Rangi Niamedo, Nigimedo, a Tombaresha, Sioma, Di Tombadella, Sioma, Ti Tombadella, Chetas.
And so we all really like this. We think this is very precious. Like when we hear words like emptiness and bodhicitta. And so we have to know that there is a distinguishment between conventional and ultimate bodhicitta. And ultimate here talks about the view of emptiness, the pure view. And this really means perfect wisdom. And so this doesn't mean just empty and nothingness is there. It's not just the fact of, when we search and search and search, we don't find anything. It is not that not finding anything, it's not that nothingness. That is falling into the extreme of nihilism.
Tesongza ngazo tongbani la de shira pyu chungwachi. Ani ngazo zang nge la ya de kunzop zi yorwa. Ani di rangjin chuni de la tongbani. Di tonyen ji lo de la yang da be dawa.
And so this emptiness here that we're talking about refers to perfect wisdom. And so our normal conventions of good and bad or negative and positive, we have to understand that these are conventional reality, these are relative. Here we're talking about natural suchness, which is emptiness. The mind of emptiness is the pure view.
Timando ngazo tongni la na daga chigla san tangwaina jigiyosa mare. Deni ngazo tongni zachimbo gares ta tongbani teda ane ngazo di petawa de chukboda message ane kale khaboyosa di zachelo gares na ane 땅에서 동행이 가지고 싸와 매봐서 tum니지 시라피도 좀 동행디 아는 거죠 심 마리바 양 짐바 락바 짐바 로 친지로 되니 뭐는 최탕제지 호랑이 강의 바디 하마고니 하마고와 마치 호랑 수미 이제 남도를 로다네 아니 추주니 딘디기 의니스 마통을 남도 로다니 디기 아는 거죠 샘제 가리 가두이나 동행이 장지 동행이 만대바 아니 동행이 가지고다 가두이나 거라지 되니 제가 내 인자는 디기 따와디 친지로도레스 따와디 랑기 템퍼처가 진데바디 템퍼처가 요마레스 띵중레스 띵중 인자네 아니 맞으기 가져 동해이나 남뒤 주고 그래 대화이나 남뒤 주고 그래서 좀이 찜이 용식이 말해
And so when we think about emptiness, we shouldn't just think about it in some kind of random way. We shouldn't think that, gathering this view is very hard, or it is very difficult, or it is something, that we really have to think really hard about. And so, because the root of all suffering, the root of, to remove the root of all suffering, we need perfect wisdom. And the reason why we suffer, so the root of this suffering, is the mind of ignorance. It is our coarse, grasping mind. It is the mind that doesn't see that all the way phenomena really are. And so not only does it not see the way things really are, it instead creates a sort of conceptual exaggeration of the way things really exist. And that is why sentient beings will continue to suffer, and why they will go round and round in the wheel of suffering. So it is a mistaken mind. And it is a mind that sees it sees things as having inherent existence. It sees things as having inherent nature, whereas actually they do not have inherent nature. Actually, they are dependently originated. All of our happiness has a cause and conditions. And all of our suffering, too, have causes and conditions.
그래서 대인자네 다 강들을 이제 템바니 근접 템바다 된담 템바 디코랑 라진 예데가 그래도 근접이나 근접 템바라나 저 강로 쥐샤 쥐시 자와치 되는데 족다치 롭렉샤 데라 디리 예리 메리 라지로 도 다 된담 템바스 라인디 지코랑기 띵기 아니 족다치로 방이 장신 아니 된데기 심 이나 디 족다치로 딱지 진시 시럽이나 시럽 코랑기 장신 디 코라 장신 동반이 나야 돼 요요 뒤도 넘어 근도 요요리노 맞춘 짐바인 거네 추르와 계송장 추나 아니 동해 용체 추주민도 소라티 송 인사래 제장 시럽표도 중을해야 돼 동반이나 고고로서 대이 때네 아니 닝제 표도 중 아니 참바다 제와다 아니 지 파친 줄라야다 세메지 라야다 정말로 아니 최탐제 다음에 봐 대코난지 따와지 친송이나 되니 nga 저기 가르주고로보다 잔주선비 쪄발란 죽토비야 되니 상하이 쪄발란 죽토비야 된데기 아니 시럽 표도 중하다 닌지 표도 중하다 종대도 눈바지 대용도 아니지 가서로 델리 근접다 마타비 근접거랑 닭비 몰라양 샤야지 내가 자치분들이 여바 성장 되니 다르바다 탐지 진배 공부하려니 지tuk사라오디 아니 최 탐지지 밀룩도나 다르바 sentient 탐지 산지지 공부를 못해 토바쇼 되네 닌지 전부 세와 전부 닌지 전부 디 인간이 되니 종주기 남지 댄송이나 아니 탐지 진비 공부 그래야지 이제 놓아라
So when we talk about the base, we talk about the two truths. And for this, we have to understand the two truths are conventional truth, or relative truth, and ultimate truth. So conventional truth here refers to, our normal perception of any outer and inner phenomena, form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and whether they exist or they do not exist. It is this mind that recognizes these phenomena. And then when it comes to ultimate truth, it is the nature of these phenomena. It is knowing. It is knowing that how they really are. It is the wisdom nature of phenomena, emptiness. So if we are mistaken about this nature, then we will keep going around and around. And so this verse actually tells us not to be mistaken about the way things really are. And so it tells us that the mind of loving kindness should be embraced by the view of suchness, because it is through the union of emptiness and compassion that we can actually obtain liberation and omniscience. Here, liberation refers to seeing the way things really are, and omniscience too refers to emptiness.
당진리 칭와 주나 담에도 비시럽 랑 진진리 아니 칭와 주는 진진진지나 아니 전주기선 다 뒤나 근데지 인간에 당가서 따와 친지 말로 쥐어 친지 말로 와대 아니 잡다 건다 뽕년다 하는 거 저기 전으로 약슈 린당 치슈 아니 뒤다 남바 군도 네가 탈투 아니 니레 좋아 아니 참로라 핀도 지야 아니 그러주고 싫어 피도 좀 인지 피도 좀 되니데 아니 라네 따라와이나 다 지 체메바지 아니 전으로 자친 것을 놓아라.
In short, so I was a little bit wrong there in the last part. So in short, liberation from our self-grasping is liberation, and liberation from our self-cherishing refers to omniscience. And so it is through this perfect view and perfect conduct that we obtain the most trustworthy protection or refuge. It is our greatest wealth. It is our greatest value, and it's something that will be there all the time in our daily lives and in everything that we experience. It is the practice of perfect wisdom and perfect compassion that is limitless. It is a limitless jewel.
그래서 다들이 로존 시제에 아니 룽더드지 퓨즈바이 대닝아서 대냠들라마 양 된데마 공바지시 냠더지 저 안되니요 그래 다 죽트바이스.
So today I'll give you the oral transmission of this text of the 8 verses of mind training. So now we will recite it together very slowly, and we will recite it while thinking and contemplating about the meaning of the verses.
차상원냠도 송쇼.
So please recite all together.
아니 디치릭드즈 베 식셀로렌도 안데좀마 전진비 돈에니 산제다 전주신들선 진질 마칠라마 주니 그것을 영화 있으면 마템송 태야지 상관지 아니 미세나나 잠바다 제벨로 전주기셈 단다디 시럽 피슈단에 아니 자치면서 영화쇼 전에 몰람다 자냠도 송르지스.
And so as you are reciting, because these words here, they are very clear. So please, as you are reciting this, you remind yourself of the meaning, and you remember that you can see that the words dissolve into your body, speech, and mind, and you will obtain. You make this prayer or aspiration that you will obtain this limitless love and compassion in your own body, speech, and mind, as you recite.
Dane semchen tamje ela yijin no nelandi encho jute samba ayin tantu jemba jemba jo kande sutan joy echen dani kune emendaji yen la samba tamba ai chodho jemba jemba jo jelan kende raju elan do chen nyamo jema Dajen maru chembe ena jenta do ne do basho Rajin semje enente don chape ne ton se Jen dan teba ajin yemba kavi injin zen shu tala jen trado Geshe la so merembe jonga rangi lemba antan jerka jela Bumbajo Kala da Penda I'm Pirewa Chewa Kajingi Shen de Neche Ena Shen Thangpa Antavarajo Dor Jumba Ayin Pende Mahana Gelugwien Meine Doing and give sorry the Lambasho Den Thai Chang Chogyen Do Be Ma Panchen Chogyen Ma Shimbe Elohim Chiwa Le Jesho Jewa Gundo Yanda Lama Dante Min Chu Chen Pela Long Ju Sada Lam Ji Yun Den Rabzon Doje Changi Kumbhan Yurto Shu Chanju Simju Rimbo Maji Bana Jeju Jin Jewa Nyamba Meba Kone Kundo Pepa Shu Doni Dava Rimbo Jen Maji Bana Jeju Jewa Nyamba Meba Yang Kone Kundo Pepa Shu Hola so kadinche teni che namba sohan dinona ani shupeni tsama trashitele kadinche teni trajanona ani sinyenda che namba so kadinche ani dirindela ta Lama Rinpoche Japji Soba Rinpoche chuzogi kodi nani ta handar ande chamanglo gobju me chachembo kodi misi chachembo na sha chamang katinche de chamanglo wada jawa yino nama doje chang musa yino dan Japji Soba Rinpoche namji tukje dan katin chilabla dene amasu dirindela ani sum chachembo ndiri 제야 당 도닝 제야지 아니 도대 조마레 내 상말로와 남이 질랍 코나 마도 응아라 연된 그냥 요 말에 내 제는 거 상말로이기 아니 내가 제네 고티 제네 다 정말 같이지 다시 텔레주미 도지체
So thank you very much to everybody. Thank you very much to everyone who is here today in the room. And thank you to everybody who is online watching. So here we are in the Dharma Center of the precious Lama Sopa Rinpoche. So I would like to thank everybody who was involved in the organization. Thank you very much. You all did a very good job. And so here today, it is through the kindness and the blessings of the wish-fulfilling jewel, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and Japji Sopa Rinpoche himself, that we are here today, that we got to discuss and listen to this precious teaching. And it is only through their kindness that if there is any benefit. From my side, I have no qualities whatsoever. And so I just would like to thank everybody very much, everybody who worked to make this teaching possible. Thank you so much.
Deni nga suda chu za chimbo digi ani chilap lama za chimbo ji chilap nubala dene ani ngwa menam deyang ani zabaling de la nebeji ani te chulu risumani machibi tenji jibu thamba na kutsi teya anda zejin jeya ani zabaling de la ninji phutu chunga da shirap phutu chunga de convertin ron zamli shide kachula 용양 당 내목 특수 제네 semjen 탐제네 내가 다 자주기 센다 심버정보 자침보 니기 되다라 ber전 용양 당 객전 파치 이제야 정말로 뭔가 좀 냠도 주고스.
So now, having listened to this precious Dharma through the blessings of the Lamas, let's dedicate all this this merit for peace and happiness of all the world, for the perfect wisdom and perfect compassion to sprout in the minds of all sentient beings, for people to give rise to bodhicitta and emptiness, the pure view and perfect conduct, for there not to be any sicknesses or adverse circumstances or obstacles in the world, for all of these to be removed completely. Let's dedicate to this.
Jambe boy chedra chimban dang kundo sambon ten de jen den de da gunje jisun da lo je kewan de da tam je rab do ngoen de zon jibe jawa tam je ngoan gong ju do ngoan jen da jen gebe zawan de gun zambo che je rab do ngoan je.
Now we offer the mandala. O sashi peki choshing meto cham lira lingshi nire genpadi sangye shingdu mite ulvai Rokun namda shingla chupasho ojetsun lame kuterapten Tinam katinle Chogyen padang Losang tempe Renwe sasumgi tatu negyochi idam guru ratna mandala kamniyatayami. And maybe do the long life prayers. Page 21 in the prayer book. First for His Holiness. Langri rave kobe shinkam dia pendan deva malu chungwe genre si wan tensin gyatso yi shape si te batu tengyu chi tong ni ning che sung du chu pe lam che che se gang chen ten drögen Jagna pemo tensin yatsola solva depso shedön lundrupsho. And then the supplication of long life for entreating the holy mind of Khandro Rinpoche. The enlightened activity of the victorious mother for the sake of taking care of all of inferior fortune born at the end of the greatly degenerate time, taking an ordinary aspect endowed with the deeds of the conquerors. Venerable Tara, we request you to have a long life and pray that your wishes are spontaneously attained. Your fame pervades the three worlds, liberated from the sufferings of bad migrations, attained to enlightenment, bestowing the Dharmakaya of great bliss to Supreme Mila, acting as companion and knowledge woman Trashit Saringma. A long and stable life, spontaneous achievement of wishes. We make this request, please bless us. We all make this request from our heart. The channels, constituents, and bodhicitta of the migrating beings of the degenerate times are blessed by countless dakinis. Innate great bliss of the subtle completion stage is induced, and one is established in the supreme state of the Dharmakaya. Khandro Rinpoche abide long. We pray that your wishes are spontaneously attained. We and all migrators since beginningless times have followed the bewilderment of true grasping, coming under the power of others. By branding all mistaken appearances as true, we are oppressed until now by the ocean of sufferings. Supreme wisdom, seeing everything as empty, Namsel Droma abide in a long life. We pray so that your wishes are spontaneously attained. All the destitute migrators bound by karma and afflictions, also it is difficult to subdue them all, you generate greatly the mind of patience and compassion, Jetsun Dagmemma, Lama Mapa's secret consort, holy and supreme, abide in a long life, may wishes be spontaneously attained. Thus we pray respectfully from our hearts. The Indian great pandit, kind to Tibet, the lotus-born, you blessed him, bringing to exhaustion the 84,000 afflictions. This holy Dharma is like the rays of the sun, great kindness pervading all the world, acting as companion of great bliss, supreme Yeshit Sogyal. Abide in a long life, may wishes be spontaneously attained. We make this request, please bless us. Having supported me with kindness since beginningless times, for all migrators destitute and oppressed by suffering, may Venerable Tara act as spiritual master. May they soon come to touch the ground of the four bodies. And shall we recite the swift return prayer for Kyabshu Zopa Rinpoche? Yes. Oh no. Okay. Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang, father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now, holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice. You wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. By striving single-pointedly for the sake of victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings you suddenly departed to peace, what a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples.
Wow, what a great day. Thank you, Rinpoche, for these very precious teachings about the 8 phases of training the mind. This is something we really can use in our daily life and will protect us in these times. Thank you very much, Rinpoche. And as I also said on Thursday, we would be extremely thankful if you will come back at some time, give us further teachings, and maybe give us the Green Tara initiation. Thank you very much once again, Rinpoche. Also, thank you very much. Thank you very much to the monks, which also some with all their some support. Thank you very much. Thank you also. Thank you very much also to the precious Sangha. So yeah, I have an assistant. Very very helpful if you are not able to go. And now finally I will send my assistant to Nance. Thank you very much. And finally, I will send my assistant to Lara. Thank you all. Also, thank you very much also for all your activities, your vast activities. Yeah, Lara. Lara. Yes. Thank you very much also to our invisible translators. Some are quite far away. Yeah. One is closer, yeah, downstairs. Venerable Drolma, thank you very much to you. You are our, yeah, without you, you are the reconditions for all these teachings. Yeah? Otherwise, it would not possible for us. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much to the dancers. I don't see them now, which give us these great dances. Thank you very much. And yes, and then I'm really very grateful that I'm the director of the center with all these helping hands. Thank you very much to all the helping hands, which prepared the apartment, which prepared our center, which prepared this hall. Yeah. This is so great. You did it with such a great spirit. Yeah, and this is thank you very much. And I think this is what Lama Zopa said. Yeah, that's the best way to serve people. Thank you very much. Also to the technique. Yeah, that's great. Great job. Great job. Thank you. And yeah, finally, finally, to thank you to all of you here in the hall, but also at Zoom. Yeah, you're also very important for these teachings. Also, thank you very much for your donations. Yeah, this also makes these teachings possible. Yeah, thank you to all of you here and in Zoom. Yeah, and yes, and finally, I would like to invite you for our next great teaching, which will be end of June. Yeah, when Langri Rinpoche will visit us. So you're really invited, and we would be very happy if we will see you also there. So thank you very much once again. And yeah. Now let's do the cut offering. Cut offering? cut offing this way, or how we?
Bye.